Today, we're exploring a theme that challenges conventional wisdom about success. The idea that giving more than you get is not a weakness, but often a strategic advantage. This book is inspired by some real stories from the book Give and Take by Adam Grant, and it kind of brings out a lot of real stories and research on reciprocity and behavior in high performing environments. See, one of the story begins with a simple, unplanned meeting on a soccer field in Silicon Valley. Two fathers watching their daughters play, Danny Shader and venture capitalist David Hornick. This chance conversation sets the stage for a powerful lesson on generosity, influence, and long-term success. Now, in the story, Shader was building his fourth startup and aimed at 25% of Americans without access to traditional banking. He pitched his idea to Hornick, who immediately saw its potential. Within a week, Hornick had arranged partner meetings and even prepared a term sheet. What happened was completely unexpected. See, unlike most VCs, Hornick did something very unusual. He gave Shader unlimited time, no pressure, no deadlines. He even offered 40 references to verify his reputation. But this generosity backfired. Shader chose another investor, fearing Hornick was too nice for tough boardroom decisions. It left Hornick questioning about everything. Hornick's behavior ran counter to the aggressive norm of what venture capitalists are. Instead of hard selling, he empowered Shader with freedom and transparency. Yet, this very generosity created doubt in Shader's mind, said one thing and his heart probably another. This raises a critical question. Does kindness cost you success? See, after losing the deal, Hornick began questioning his entire philosophy. He wondered, am I a dope? Did being generous make me lose this opportunity? For a moment, it seemed like the old saying, good guys finish last, might be true. And so you see, the book has identified three styles of success: the takers, the matchers, and the givers. If you look at the takers, they tilt reciprocity in their favor, putting their own interests ahead of others' needs. They believe success requires being better than others. And there's matchers who strive to perceive equal balance of giving and getting. They operate on fairness, seeking reciprocity in all relationships. And there's the third one, which is the givers. They tilt reciprocity in the other direction, that is, preferring to give more than they get. They focus on what others need from them. See, when the research was done across industries, be it across the various departments, engineering, medical, sales, the result was pretty surprising. The givers were found at the very bottom, but also at the very top. The least successful gave too much without boundaries, and the most successful givers were strategic, generous, but not very self sacrificing. And the takers and the matches were clustered in the middle. See, there is a ending also to that story in the book, which is that 6 months later, Shader regretted his decision. He invited Hornick to invest anyway, even at the cost of diluting himself. And Hornick accepted. The partnership thrived, and Shader became one of Hornick's strongest advocates. Now, this story shows that generosity can produce returns not just always immediately, but definitely on a long run. And the numbers also don't lie. If you look at the numbers of Onyx, 89% was the success rate. The percentage of entrepreneurs who accepted Onyx term sheet far above the industry average of 50%. And there were about 28 total offers, the number of term sheets Onyx offered over 11 years in the venture capital, and 25 acceptances, which is entrepreneurs who chose to work with Onyx, valuing his approach over the competitions. In contrast to Onyx was Kenneth Lay of Enron, a classic taker, polished on the outside, exploitative underneath. His behavior led to Enron's collapse, wiping out thousands of jobs while he personally benefited. Just a reminder, taking ultimately just destroys trust, culture, reputation, and everything. See, networks does matter. They give access to information, opportunities, and influence. But the type of network you build depends on who you are. Takers build power networks, matchers build fair networks, and givers build value networks that benefit everyone. And it's important also to identify who is a taker. Yeah, there are some warning signs that you can always see to observe this. For example, if you look at a photo test, you can look at their annual reports. A taker's CEO usually features large photo of themselves compared to the other executives on a full page of glamour shots. And then you can also see in all their social platforms or all their posts, they will always be putting their photos rather than the event more of it. And the language also is a clear identification of it. They use more of I, me, mine, almost twice as often as a giver while discussing within their companies. And their compensation gap, there'll be huge compensation gap between probably a CEO of that taker versus the next level of salary employee that will be in that company. And let's be fair that today in social media, uh, the reputation is clearly visible. It's hard for takers to kind of fake generosity when digital footprints reveal everything: the language patterns, the networking habits, the authenticity, their posts, their photos, and transparency rewards these genuine givers. So, this is another clear example: Adam Rifkin, a shy programmer who became Fortune's best networker not by taking but by consistently giving small acts of help. His quiet generosity made him more connected to powerful people than CEOs and billionaires. See, Rifkin's philosophy was very simple. If something takes 5 minutes or less, just do it. These micro acts of generosity create ripple effects, turning givers into a trusted hubs in their network. And then there is a ripple effect of giving. Generosity spreads, one act inspires other. Over time, giving becomes a norm, multiplying value through networks. And this ripple effect is the foundation of thriving teams and organizations because one person gives, others follow, there's a norm established, and then value multiplies over time. And givers also excel at reconnecting with the dormant ties, people they once knew. These connections often provide fresh insights and unexpected opportunities because trust already exists. And Adam Rifkin leveraged dormant ties to launch major ventures. So if you look at the collaboration, the genius makers, if you look at these two comparisons of Frank Lloyd Wright, the lone genius, and George Meyer, the genius maker. See, Frank Lloyd Wright, he believed he could succeed alone. He isolated himself at the Tillotson estate. He suffered a 9 year creative drought, rarely acknowledged collaborators' contributions, and few apprentices achieved independent success. But if you look at the other side, which is George Meyer, he recognized the power of collaboration, created Army Man magazine and invited contributions, became the mastermind behind the Simpsons' success, and consistently elevated colleagues' work. And many collaborators achieved remarkable success with him. And if you look at the responsibility bias, humans naturally overestimate their contributions. And givers counter this by recognizing others first. This reduces conflict, builds a lot of trust, and strengthens the collaboration. See, the journey of Onyx shows that generosity may look like a short term loss, but becomes a long term strategy. In a world where transparency is increasing, being a giver isn't just morally right, it's strategic. See, ultimately, success isn't about just winning individually, it's about how many people want you to win. Givers don't just rise, they elevate everyone with them. The question is, which style would you choose? So that's the end of this summary of this book and this topic. I hope you have got some points to think over it. So thank you for watching till the end of it. And if you're interested to read more or learn more, send an email and we'll connect together and help grow each other. Thank you.